What's up, guys? Y'all miss me? I'm back. Check this out. I had my buddy. He hit me up and said, "Seth, what is dosage of MK-677? Like, give me the rundown. What's the deal with it?" And I said, "You know what? Let me give you a complete rundown real quick, and that way I can share it with everybody." So, because I know there's a lot of questions now that all the videos have been deleted. I'm getting a lot of questions that are concerning, hey, how do I know about this stuff? Where did all the information go? Well, let's recreate it and make it anew again. So MK677 is a growth hormone secretagogue that is not for human consumption. This is a research chemical. All the products that are related to SARMs or anything to do with the black label, that means it is a research chemical not for human consumption. It means you don't eat it. So, if you're a researcher who likes doing research, like me, I'm a little bit of a nerd, and I like to do research on my fish, frog, monkey, mouse, saber-tooth, spider, cricket, legalotopus. Because I know everybody has one of those, because everybody loves fish, frog, monkey, mice, saber-tooth, spider, cricket, legalotopuses. Um, some people like to do research with them because mine tells me that it really likes to be researched on. If you're in that boat, MK677 might be something that you would consider. Now, MK677 being a secretagogue of growth hormone, and basically what this means is it activates the ghrelin receptors in the pituitary, um, which increases growth hormone production. Let me explain a little more simply like this. All right, we got brain, we got pituitary, and pituitary produces growth hormone. It also produces like LH and prolactin, which you don't want. LH, luteinizing hormone, is the hormone that stimulates production of testosterone by the testicles. GH, on the other hand, does all kinds of other things. Now, secretagogue to growth hormone means that it's acting as ghrelin and it's hitting the receptors that tell little pituitary here to produce or elevate levels of growth hormone. I can explain in full detail how that works here in a minute. But basically, you need to know what you need to know. So, growth hormone, what is that going to do if we boost the amount of growth hormone in our system? Well, Dr. Ronald Klatz wrote the book Grow Young with HGH, where he says all the movie stars are taking it because they get an 8.8% increase in muscle mass with no change in diet or exercise. They get a 14.4 decrease in body fat. A lot more of this already. But it also increases energy, enhanced sexual performance, regrowth of organs damaged due to age, like your heart, kidneys, liver, spleen. Now, I'm not making claims. This is what Dr. Ronald Klatt said. I'm not that smart. I read the book. Bam, there you go. You got information. Um, it also helps with better focus, concentration, mood elevation, thicker, tighter, younger skin, reduction in wrinkles, stronger bones, better sleep. Now I know that my fish, frog, monkey, mouse, saber-tooth, spider, cricket, like a lot of us, because humans can't take this. This is not for human consumption. So mine took it for 16 months. He started off with a dose of 30 milligrams a day, which he thought threw him into hypoglycemia, which is actually hyperglycemia. Anyway, made him felt bad, scared the shit out of him. So what he did is from 30 milligrams went down to 20, stayed there for about 8 months. That's every night before bed, and then he lowered dosage due to lethargy. Um, when growth hormone is produced in mass amounts, the only time we produce that much is when we're in stage 4 sleep. Therefore, you might get lethargic. I mean, not you. You wouldn't take this. You're a human. But your fish, frog, monkey, mouse, saber-tooth, spider, cricket, I think a lot of us might. And if he starts to get lethargic, then you reduce dosage. Now, he took it for 16 months in all. He reduced down to 20 and then 10 and then 10 every other day. It's a 30-hour half-life. That's important. So half of it's gone within 30 hours. Now, Standard dosing is going to range for your average saber-toothed fish frog right around 10 milligrams to 20 milligrams, 30 being excessive unless he's really, really bigger than me. Um, he might, my boss said, but there you go, there, he might need more. But side effects. Side effects are going to include if you are diabetic, you do not smell it, touch it, look at it, fondle it, plug it, put it on your skin, put it in your eyeball, nothing. All right, so this is a big X for diabetics. Don't do that, okay? Now, next side effect is going to be in older patients above the age of 80 in double-blind controlled placebo studies. If you're over 80 and have hip fractures, hip problems, and have previously had heart attacks, it can cause possibly a heart issue as far as the blood pressure may go up a little bit and you can have a heart attack. So that's only in those who are susceptible to having blood pressure issues that are over 80 years old is what we found. If you fit that boat up, I'm not real sure. You just don't need to. And one of the reasons being that it increases your blood pressure and sometimes even cholesterol levels is in the beginning. In order to understand this, you've got, all right, you got brain, you got pituitary, and then you've got the ghrelin. Ghrelin is actually the hormone that you get when you get hungry. So when we get hungry, when the stomach growls, ghrelin, think of that, okay? Ghrelin is produced, and that production of ghrelin increases cortisol. All right, cortisol and ghrelin go hand in hand. When one's increased, the other's increased. Now, what happens though is to stifle the cortisol and ghrelin, growth hormone, the pituitary produces growth hormone. Okay, so now we've got the pituitary sitting back and it goes, oh God, we got cortisol and ghrelin and all these receptors. Let's boost growth hormone to shove them back down to where they are supposed to be. So for about 7 to 10 days, we found that you go through I don't like you or the world kind of phase, and it's mostly emotional. It's not really, the blood pressure can slightly rise for a couple of days. What that is the body getting accustomed to the substance and shoving the cortisol and ghrelin levels appear to be higher. Those receptors are hit, so what happens is the body then, the pituitary produces this mass amount of GH, and then you maintain that, or your fish, frog, monkey, mouse, saber-tooth, spider, crate, like a lot of us, because humans don't take this. See, there's mine. I got a picture of him on my shirt. I love him. He's with me all the time, like for real. But 7 to 10 days, then what's going to happen is growth hormone then comes up to stifle those bad hormones, and that's when the 8.8% increase in muscle mass to the 14.4. Now that's over a 6-month period, but it's also with no change in diet or exercise. Ponder that for a minute. But that is your basic rundown, and your dosage for your research purposes is going to be for a 200-pound saber-toothed fish, frog, monkey, mouse, like a lot of pussy. Dosage is going to range between really 10 and 30 milligrams, okay? Now, starting at the lower end, he's going to want to start with 10 to see how his body reacts, especially if he's pre-diabetic or has anything to do with high blood. If he eats a lot of sugar, you just start with 10. Do that for about a week with him, and then he can go up to 20, and some can even go up to 30 without having an absolute panic attack. But that's going to be your basic rundown. Now, they call it the fountain of youth hormone. Now, what does GH do in relation to bodybuilding? Different ballgame. Now, that's overall health. In bodybuilding, growth hormone is your master hormone, right? Growth hormone basically tells all other hormones what to do, where to go. So growth hormone being the master hormone, going down and making sure everybody else is doing their job, All right, he's head contractor, and he's making sure all his contractors are doing their job, and they're making sure that all the workers are doing their job. So if you're taking, let's say, testosterone at I don't know, gram a week or something, then what would happen is growth hormone would ensure that testosterone is doing its job properly and not converting over and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. What it can also do is aid in healing the joints and the help to offset or prevent the enlarged artery or enlarged heart and other organs that happen when taking anabolics. Believe it or not, growth hormone is one of the more safe peptide hormones that's out there, and all the different peptides that go along with it. Now, you do have to be very careful with diabetes, considering that it fits the same receptor. Growth hormone and insulin compete for receptors. That means whichever one gets there first gets it. So if you have this massive influx of growth hormone, whoa, insulin receptors are getting filled with GH and not with insulin. And now it can cause a diabetic issues. So that's where we want to be very cautious. Or if you're above 80 years old and have a hip fracture, you might have a problem there. But for the most part, growth hormone being one of your safer things, and this is even better than, it's going to be the equivalent of taking a couple shots a day. Now, it's not going to be like bodybuilding dosage shots, but for overall health. Now, if you get up in 30 milligrams, then yeah, but you also get the side effects. Remember, damage is in the dose. The answer to pollution in your system is dilution, and the less pollution, then the less you have to dilute. So stay hydrated always. But all in all, my fish, frog, monkey mouse, saber tooth, spider cricket, Licolopus, his shoulders have, knock on something, completely healed from dislocating the left one 5 times, the right one 3. His right elbow, his neck is 90%, and his right hip and both his knees have all healed except for the hip is probably 75% better. And that's 16 months of use. So you can take that for your research animal to maybe comfort them into going, hey, you know what? This might be helpful. If taken along with the ingredients to rebuild cartilage, like in Ultra Joint Health, is what my fish, frog, monkey mouse, saber-tooth, spider cricket did. Those were the raw materials, hormones being the contractors. Then you got the contractors right, the raw materials are there, then you rebuild. That's how it works. If you need to heal something, then you provide the raw materials and then add extra growth hormone to balance the endocrine system, and ta-da, you got it. So, Neuroids.com, nutritional, NEWTRITIONALHC.com. Hit us up on anabolicsanonymous.net. Go see my fish, frog, monkey mouse, saber-tooth, spider cricket. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Peace.